Hello everyone, this is Amy the Mystic Rose Tarot. I am going to be introducing a new series that I will do for now probably every other Saturday, and it's called Tarot Astrology Insights. For some of you who have looked at my previous videos, you've noticed that for quite a bit of August I've been focusing on the decans, the Golden Dawn astrological correspondences in relation to the tarot, the major arcana, the planets, so on and so forth. And earlier in August, I received 2 decks through Attila Blaga, who's based out in Romania. And he's created a system that is pretty much expanding the astrology aspects of the tarot, the planets, how they're placed, their relationship, the signs and the planets, their relationship to the cards and the arcana. And some of it's similar to Golden Dawn, and other parts of it isn't. So it's a system he's been working on for quite some time, and I've been using it as a guide as I explore astrological aspects with the arcanum. As I start the series, I want to start it with the season that we are currently heading in. So we're at the tail end of summer, and we have another, I think, 3 weeks until we have the autumn equinox, Mabon, known in the pagan communities. This is my favorite time of the year, fall, and then as we go into winter. It's a time where things start becoming more introspective, and we start becoming more reflective, and things just start slowing down from the summer energy. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to base this week for the week of, now I'm going to be using the Golden Dawn correspondences. It goes the entire year, and a decan is represented from 0 to 10 degrees, which is usually the last week of the previous sign. We are actually in the 0 to 10 degrees, so we are already in the first 10 degrees of the sign in Virgo. So the previous week would be the last sign, or the last week in Leo, which would be 20 to 30 degrees. So now, as we're in the tail end of August, first week of September, that represents the first 10 decans, the first 10 days of that astrological month. The following week after that, which would be September 2nd to the 11th, will be 10 to 20 degrees. And then September 12th to the 22nd, give or take a day, will represent the last 10 degrees. So that would be 20 to 30 degrees. So what I'm going to be doing over the next 10 days, every other 10 days, I will be discussing the astrological card that is associated with that particular week's decan for that sign, and I will be showing other cards from different decks that represent that particular card. So for instance, we are going to be talking about the Sun in Virgo, which is represented by the 8 of Coins or 8 of Pentacles. So I have here, I'm just going to flash them really quick and then just bring up some pointers if need be. I have 6 cards from different decks that all pictorially show different representations of what the 8 of Coins or Pentacles represents. Keep in mind, we are now in the week or the month of Virgo. We're in our first week. And Virgo, just to go through it very briefly, Virgo is an earth sign. It is a mutable sign. So it means it's adaptable. It can sort of be flexible in certain situations. In Western astrology, Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury. But in And one particular deck that I'm going to show you, its rulership and also its arcana archetype is actually different. Virgo is normally associated with the Hermit. In this case, this one particular card or deck that I have represents Virgo as the High Priestess. So we're going to just go through that, the differences, maybe similarities between Virgo as the Hermit and as the High Priestess. And each week, as we're still in the same astrological month for Virgo, each week there's a different planet. So this week is Sun in Virgo. The following week will be Venus in Virgo, and then we're going to go into Mercury in Virgo, and we will discuss those attributes as well for each week or every other week. I'll probably end up doing this every week. So here's a representation by the Pagan OtherWorlds by UUSI Design. I'm going to go here a little closer. I can't go too close because my color starts shifting, the lighting starts going a little cattywampers. And so we have the Eight of Pentacles. Pentacles, again, is an earth sign, or is of the earth element, and Pentacles represents the earth signs of Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. And this is a representation, visual representation of the Eight of Pentacles. So I'll be doing this, I'll just be bringing cards, the other cards for visual representation. So we see abundance, we see the work that has been done so far. And again, we're talking about the Sun in Virgo. And Virgo is also, I got sidetracked earlier, Virgo is also a sign that, besides being mutable, and it's ruled by Mercury, it uses its mind. It's very practical in its thoughts, and it simplifies things. If you are a Virgo sign, to focus on the things that are of importance, so that you have the tools that you need, you have the sources that you need, you've eliminated everything that you feel is not going to help you. You get to the point, and you work with those things. The Virgos are also service-oriented people. They like to help people. And they can also be workaholics, where they do get lost in the process of just trying to fix things and make things good. They're not really taking care of themselves. So it's really important to take that time aside and to focus on yourself as well as other situations. Okay, so that was the Eight of Pentacles. And then here, this is from the Forest of Enchantment. Okay, and in that deck, for pentacles or coins, it's been replaced by boons. And here we see the physicality of the individual at work. They have all the sources that they need. Very, very simple. And they're working with what they have, and they're building upon it. Okay, so again, this is Sun in Virgo for August 23rd to September 1st. With Eight of Pentacles, the action's already happening. So it's just adding upon those aspects of the Virgo nature. Okay, and this card, this is, they don't make reference, this is Streams of Gaia. This deck is an elemental deck, so there's no reference to pentacles, swords, wands, or cups. It's all elemental. And here we see and we feel the same energy. We're seeing growth, we're seeing abundance, we're seeing what has been built so far, and we're taking this time to look at how things have shaped so far, and if there's any changes that need to be made, we make it at this time. And here we have the Eight of Pentacles. And this is from the Dreamkeepers Tarot by Liz Huston. And I'll put links for these decks in the description. Let me move my fingers here. Okay. But here we have a different interpretation of the Eight of Pentacles. This deck, the Dreamkeepers Tarot, deals more with the subconscious state of how we see things and feel things and connect with things. And here we have the same process. This woman, we see the pentacles that are in a circle. And then if you look closely, you will see her feet. And I didn't really notice this. I've had the deck for about a year. I didn't notice it until I was going through each card specifically about a month ago. Her feet or legs represent the compass. So the compass is like setting the direction, how we are going to place the next step. And very carefully we see here, and it's seeing how things currently are and what changes that need to be made, the direction that we need to move into for our own benefit and everyone else's. But we have to be careful not to get lost. And again, I'm talking about Sun and Virgo for this week, for this decan. Not to get too overwhelmed with the details and things. We need to stay focused, and there are wonderful attributes in all the astrological signs, but of course there's always going to be the polar opposite, and so we have to keep that balance, and that's really important. So with these cards here that I showed you, is creating that stability. You already have that foundation for where you want to go, how you want to build, how you want to portray things for other people. So you have the building blocks for that. And this card, and this is a deck that I will be, is a supernatural deck. It deals with astrology. It deals with alchemy. It deals with, of course, tarot. It deals with the planets. But if you look closely here, Virgo is actually seen here to be for the previous decan of Leo. And Venus does rule, beauty, since this is the month that we're in, and give a breakdown of the sign interpretation. So for Golden Dawn correspondences, it was Sun and Virgo. So we have the Sun in the upright position. Like I was saying, if you split the eights, we have 4 and 4. Again, we have that foundation that's already set up towards success. It's up to us, the individual, how we are going to move forward with it. If we do the card in reverse, okay, we have the 4 moons. Okay, so the reverse of this would more than likely attribute to not moving ahead. You're doing more thinking than actually making things happen. And this is dangerous because this could be the beginnings of being stagnant. Let me go like this here. Being lost in stagnancy. So it's really important to keep the growth going. Keep that momentum going. Use that energy. You've come this far. You don't want to self-manipulate the situation that it goes against you. So with this card, the 8 of Discs, with the Tarot of the Holy Light, this is Virgo, but held in the sign of Venus. The Hermit has a direction. It's on its journey. It's attaining, it's learning, it's getting information. We see the hermit with its light. There's different representations of the hermit that we see. Some showing the light, some showing a glowing ball of light. That's the guide. That light source is our source within, and that's what the hermit is using. Instead of following its heart, it's spiritually, it's following its intuitiveness, and that's the word right there that leads us from the hermit into the high priestess. This is the Unified Esoteric Tarot. So here we have Virgo, 6th house of health and work. And here we see the high priestess. In its upright position, it's set in for order. And as I mentioned, the way Virgos think, they're practical and they need to have things in a structure. We see the sign for Virgo, but we also see the 3 planetary influences. This is a sign of Ceres. Ceres is seen as, it's a star, the goddess of September, which is Demeter. And Ceres is, I believe, the Roman equivalent to Demeter, who is the Greek interpretation. This is Demeter. And she represents the harvest season, which we are in. And she's very maternal. She does have to take sacrifices along the way to accommodate things, but that doesn't bother her because she knows that with those sacrifices and changes, she can work under different circumstances, hence why Virgo is mutable. I want to talk about also the high priestess. Okay, so with the hermit, as I mentioned, it's reflective. We're looking inward. We're using our inner light to guide us along the way, and basically following intuition. Here's the other card. This is the Aquarian Hermetic Tarot, and this rules the month of Virgo, as you see here, August 23rd to September 22nd. So how can we compare or contrast the high priestess in the sign of Virgo with the hermit? Now, the hermit is, to many, an insightful card, but so is the high priestess. The high priestess is ruled by the moon, and we see intuitive spiritual knowledge, an understanding of the esoteric, understanding why things are the way they are at a subconscious level. It all makes sense. And I feel with the guidance of Virgo, this as a high priestess is representing the inner side. I mentioned Demeter, who is a maternal goddess. And of course, any maternal goddess, and as female energy, there's a natural instinct. We feel things. We are intuitive. And so with Virgo, as the high priestess, Virgo can take that influence of Ceres and Demeter, the goddesses of fertility and maternal nurturing. We could take that and use it as an influence, use the high priestess as an influence to help Virgos find that spiritual side. And the hermit and the high priestess, when you think about it, they go hand in hand with each other. because ultimately it's all spiritual soul searching, working with the resources that we have, and the understanding that we have about spirituality and gaining from it. And that's what the Hermit is doing. The Hermit is gaining information. The High Priestess is that person to show the way, to that guidance. As we see here, practical introvert, keeping things simple, putting things in order and structure. This is the Unified Esoteric Tarot. And this is for the month of Virgo, August 23rd to September 22nd. So yes, this is what I want to do. This is an example of how I want to approach the Tarot Astrology Insights episode. We'll go through the decans. I'll show cards from various decks. I probably won't show as many as I did this time, but just as an example. And then I will use the Unified Esoteric Tarot and possibly the Aquarian Hermetic Tarot, based on where we are in the month of our astrological sign, and how these decans and the tarot cards relate to each other astrologically. And you can use that energy, the planets, as guides. So I'm just going to flash these really quick. Okay, so again, these are all 8 of Pentacles from different decks. That eye. So this is the week. We have 8 of Pentacles, Dreamkeepers Tarot. This week of August 23rd to September 1st. Keep it simple. I love the word practical. I'm an earth sign. So the less involved, the better. It's much easier that way. And you pick what you need out of everything, out of all the sources that you have, and just use what you need. If you need everything, then you're going to have your work cut out for you. You have to make all those elements work. Alrighty. It's Amy, the Mystic Rose Tarot. Again, I will be doing this as of now, probably every other Saturday. Please leave comments. Any questions, of course, let me know. To reach me, you can reach me on my website, www.themysticrosetarot. I'm on Instagram, the same name as my YouTube channel. And have a wonderful weekend. And I look forward to seeing you next time. I almost forgot. This Monday, August 31st at 7:30 Pacific Daylight Time, I have Mystic Moon Mondays, which I do every other Monday. And this week I have a very special guest. I'm very happy to have her on board. Her name is Juliana Victoria. She's known as Through the Peacock's Eyes. She's an astrologer. She's a healer. She does tarot readings. And she's going to be my guest this Monday. And we're going to talk about Vedic astrology and some of the similarities and differences that come with Western astrology and Vedic astrology. So we're going to keep it pretty basic. We're not going to go really in depth to a lot of things, but there's been a lot of interest recently in Vedic astrology, and we're going to explore aspects as to why the Vedic astrology could actually be more accurate than Western astrology. There's more detail in the charts with Vedic astrology, so it gives more information about the person that we don't see so much in Western astrology. So that's this Monday, 7:30, August 31st, 7:30 Pacific Daylight Time. Please tune in. It's going to be informative. Come with questions. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Thank you again.